All right, we're still in the battle that we left on our last episode. So let's go ahead and finish getting these guys out of here. It's my turn. Let's see, we're gonna move here.
My enemies shall be crushed like dust beneath my feet. And so shall it be done. Another step towards our ultimate victory.
My man is hitting pretty hard though. A little bit different than I thought. I didn't think he was gonna be doing this much damage. Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single Horson survive. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst into the deck, huh? Not bad. I've seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel. This is the incident with the rampaging servitors may be connected to... Yeah, let's say that. Possibly, quite likely. We will investigate at a later time. Right now, we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation. What's your orders? Mord has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch militant requires aid and be quick about it. Alright. So we got to go find the arch militant. Is that what we need to do? Ah, okay. Hit the J. You have to hit J to get your journal up, which I didn't remember a second ago. But we're good now. You can also move the camera with your mouse, like normal. Middle mouse button. But we got to lock back in.
The Emperor protects!
This is once we are done with the ride, I want to have a look at the logistical reports. Alright. Can we go?
We are bound by the blood of martyrs.
I do not know where we're supposed to go though. I guess we'll go down here and check this stuff on the left. So I don't know what that is. I'm just gonna be out here in these streets looking for whatever. Oh, it's another
We
fight.
shall reclaim what is rightfully ours.
They still up here fighting. Look. How do you get over there?
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
Thank Providence you are alive and well. Always on time, hey. The moments we finish chasing the riffraff around the decks, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You can set your chrono by it. Mort, pull yourself together. Says, what did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We are all done here. I'll report right away. Master whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officers' deck, and my arch militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report. I have not yet received word from the engineering regarding any Yeller field failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I'm receiving scattered reports from the middle have and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That madman have already reached the officer's deck suggests that the outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny. Mutiny? But who would attempt a mutiny here in the warp? A mutiny against the Emperor's anointed? Execute the traitors, every last one of them? We must provide immediate assistance to those still in the middle decks. Perhaps then we might stop this wave. If this is indeed a severe case of warp madness, then this situation is dire. You don't know the half of it. There's only one thing worse than the warp addling the brains of our crew, and that's the warp itself crawling all over our decks. I shouldn't even think about it. It's bad luck. Your orders, Lord Captain? First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator sanctum are secure, and I have the means to do both things at once. Ethelred, where is... I must know if he is unharmed. The psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on transitional deck 18. Blasted Master of Whispers, find Ethelred immediately. Central locate Talus and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Archmilitant with me. I must go to my study. It appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Deacon, what you want me to do? If I may, Lord Captain, transitional deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Ethelred back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the house as the esteemed Archmilitant, and taking into consideration Ethelred's psychic powers. Discover the whereabouts of Ethelred. Okay. Then to settle, Deacon, find Ethelred and bring him here. In whatever state you find him, this elevator, she points at the massive doors, leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand? I hear and obey, Lord Captain. Then move out. Alright, let me go get the homie real quick. So here's the thing. What did we create a voice for if he's not going to use it? Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk. You do not even have proper gear. How shall I make do lead the way? I have propositions since I am more important person here. You can go in front. Nah. You better not fail me, Lord Captain. Made it clear that relying on you is fraught with risk. Yeah. I see you have quickly earned Lady Theodora's trust, and she is already sharing her close guarded secrets with you. But that is no longer relevant. What you mean? With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen, and you are consumed by unbearable gut-wrenching pain. Oh, you freaking punk. I promise you a special destiny, Deacon. It is time to fulfill it. This dude just stabbed me, man. So this dude just shanked us. It's crazy. Can't have that. This fool just kicked me.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing.
You two-faced scum.
Back with us, I see.
You're behind this man.
Delightful.
Let's do this one first. We're gonna act regal at first. Then we're gonna snap.
You must have hit your head harder than I thought. No matter. Very little is required of you. Just your blood, which you can either share of your own volition, or I will spill it for you. We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Alright, so we're gonna do this like normal, because you know they always gonna spill their plans. So we're gonna ask them, why are you doing this?
Why? Because I am following an order. What is happening on this ship right now has been in the making for a very long time. All that remains is to obtain what my masters sent me for. The Warrant of Trade.
Alright. It says, I have no intention of helping you.
I am afraid that you have no choice in the matter. Try to resist, and I will demonstrate the power that the warp holds over mortals. Come to think of it, I might even take some pleasure in doing so.
To the void with you. Enough threats. I will comply with that's we going with number one. We're gonna be a little bit like, nah, we ain't doing that. Skill tests and dialogues. One of the available dialogue options requires making a skill test. Unlike with passive tests, which are made automatically. In this case, you can decide whether or not to select an option, the consequences of which depend on the result of the associated test. Alright, so success or failure affects how the dialogue will develop. Depending on the context, you might change the course of the conversation, alter the character's attitude, or perform an action whose consequences will only become apparent later. Hover your cursor over the dialogue option that requires a skill test. You will see a tooltip detailing your chances of success. The number after the skill's name indicates the difficulty of the test. Get out. I'm not your puppet. I will do as you require. Enough threats. Now we're going to do this. Fight voice in your head. The voice in your head giggle and mock. You desperately outcry. You feel the intruding influence forcing you onto your feet and making you take a step forward. So I didn't see any numbers. Chance. Look for anything that could be used as a weapon. Examine the device. Tech use succeeded. You carefully inspect the design, the gate of the cogitator. It says you suspect this might be some kind of archaeotech relic, incredibly rare and powerful piece of technology from humanity's ancient past. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward closer to you. The lower jaw opened with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. What? The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs. They glint in the dim light. Alright. A whisper runs through your conscience, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after the dude wounded you with his blade did not go away. Alright, place your hand, look back. Look for anything that we can use as a weapon. Nah. Let's examine it. Different from the ones you're used to, its skin covering is stitched together with copper thread and has metal hinges in place of the standard joints. We're going to place our hand in here. The sentinel jaw clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and pumps stir into motion. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath, maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever. We're gonna
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the Sentinel, the Cogitator? It is a figment of your weary mind. I do require assistance. Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entity coiled in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
Yeah.
Well, there is still another way.
Check the warrant chamber.
Let us walk this path to the end.
Let's see what's about to happen. Let it be known that by my will and by the true words of this document, I appoint this person to be the bearer, which is Deacon. Yeah, baby. I told the whole boldly reigns of fate to walk steadily the roads through pain of greatness. Were they rapping and spitting? What you doing?
Escort the child of the house to safety.
What madness is happening here? Who are you? I need to contact someone, preferably. I need a weapon. I'm utterly defenseless.
Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations.
Alright.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
Vox Master restore communications with the Navigator's Sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head.
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection.
What madness is happening here?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by.
Are you a Warrant Sentinel?
Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel designed as a personal escort of the child of the house and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by.
Alright, lead me away from here.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Alright, as the game story unfolds, you will see notifications at the top screen indicating that the status of your current objective have been updated and that new information has been added to your journal. You can open the journal by pressing J or clicking the left mouse button on the notification at the top of the screen. Journal entries help you keep track of the current events and guide your character on their journey. The quest tab tracks the progress of the main story. Here you can find information about any quests you have accepted and their current status. Use the journal to help yourself understand where to go on the next steps. That's what I need. So we need to go here.
Know your duty. Master, whatever are you doing in the warrant chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me. What is the meaning of this?
This man is a traitor. When we parted ways on the officer's deck, he stumped me somehow and brought me here.
What?
He's clearly serving the unholy gods of the warp. Says he intended to take revenge on Theodora for something, and trying to reach the warrant was somehow part of the plan.
Oh, holy God, Emperor! I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Master, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora.
He openly admitted that he is the mastermind behind the mutiny.
Saint's blood! And it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Master. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster.
Nah, we had to go fight.
You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
Finally. Here we go. I got a freaking axe. So you already know what that means. This is characteristics. In skill tests, the success of a test is determined by rolling 100-sided dice. Each skill test has a difficulty of up to 100, including negative values. To succeed, you must roll a value less than a sum of both the stated difficulty and the value of the skill used for the test. For example, you are attempting a test with a difficulty of a -10. Your character's tech use score is 40. So 40 minus 10 equals 30. Therefore, to succeed on the tech use skill, you must roll a 30 or less. Any result above 30 will mean failure. Note that difficulty increases from greater to lower values. The greater the difficulty value, the easier it is to pass the test. It is easier to succeed on a difficulty 40 test than on a difficulty 10 test. Got you. While fighting your character can lose some of their wounds. Your character has suffered an injury after being attacked by Conrad. This happened when a character receives damage that exceeds 50% of their maximum wounds within one round. The exact percentage of the wounds a character must lose for this to happen may vary depending on the difficulty of the game you chose. Injuries reduce the character's resolve. When a character initially suffers an injury, it is considered a fresh injury during the first 3 rounds. Once 3 rounds have passed, a fresh injury becomes an old injury. A fresh injury can be healed using a med kit without passing any skill test. Old injuries can be healed with the med kit, but they require a character administering the treatment to pass a med kit skill test to succeed. Use med kits to restore wounds. Alright. Once the combat is over, the wounds of all party members are replenished automatically, but any injuries that may have sustained remain. Those can be healed with a med kit. Med kits can only be used by characters who have Field Medic features base skill Med-K or have taken Med-K skill advancement at least once. Whenever a character uses a med kit in battle, the Med-K skill test determines the number of wounds that will be restored. As a result, Alabar can heal your character's injury. Alright. Let's click on his portrait, it says.
We are the spearhead of the Imperium.
I need you to hook me up, bro.
This wound will make a fine scar.
Even in the darkest moments, there is.
So you've got new items in your inventory. Okay. Get this out of there. So what do we get? We have a weapon, right? He can't take this? Oh, he got a double. Alright, let's see. Yo.
I can't allow myself to do this.
I thought we could. So we can't. We're not able to do this. Huh. That's something.
That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
I heard one of her voxcasts.
Lady Theodorus. Which one? The last one I received was about the navigator's sanctum, and that was a good while ago. In any case, let us hope that the Lord Captain is well and safely in charge of the ship's defense. In the meantime, we must do all we can to prevent the ship from veering off course.
What exactly is wrong with the translation?
I am no helmsman, or God Emperor preserve me navigator. However, I've spent my entire life aboard void ships equipped with warp drives, and I know that portents such as these do not bode well. It could be that the Gellerfield has faltered. Perhaps the navigator was struck down by warp corruption and is fighting for the last shreds of his humanity as we speak. If we get thrown off course, we will be forever lost in the warp. Naturally, we would likely not have long to live in that scenario. But I will not resign myself to such an outcome just yet.
Alright, how'd you find me?
You sent me a Vox message. Specifically, a Voxcast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. You mean to say you did no such thing?
I think the Warren Sentinel may have sent that message. It appeared when I opened the chamber.
Warren Sentinel? The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber, and I was at her side only once or twice when she did. And I did not see anything of the sort. The Warren Chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with the utmost reverence. I assume that whatever it is that you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the Sentinel to awaken. But then, why did none of it happen when Lady Theodora did the same?
Bro, because I'm the chosen one. What you talking about? It says, what can we expect to find?
During warp transit, the Sanctum is closed to all who are not involved in traversing the Empyrean. And for good reason. For the Navigator to open their third eye and perceive the way, the Sanctum must be bathed in the energies of the Immaterium. Only a Navigator can withstand such an ordeal. For the rest of us, any contact with the warp is fraught with perils such as loss of sanity, spontaneous mutations, and death.
Alright, I am under no obligation to take such risks. The Navigator Sanctum, very well. Will you lead the way? I'll say this.
Come.
Alright, we're going to take this time to make this the last part of this episode. Read this really fast. It says, to arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor. Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might destroy those who have dared.
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
Don't you dare to cross us! I will take you down.
Alright, yeah, we'll go ahead and stop it right here. On the next episode, we'll go ahead and take care of this fight so we can go ahead and get up to the Emperor and see exactly what's going on that deck. If you guys did like this content, please share it, hit the like and subscribe. And with that, I will catch you in the next one.